I'm angry about what's happened, about how the world has taken it, about how social media has blown up, about how people have reacted, how media's reacted, and what's happened because of it, as we'll see in the video that we're going to react to as well about it. It's an indictment on the species. It's gotten to that point where honestly it's an indictment on us as human civilization, to where we've gotten to, how far we've de-evolved, for those who think evolution is a thing, for those who think we've become better.
Yeah, we've become actually de-human.
And it's one thing on this channel, I try very hard to make this about Christ foremost. I'm attempting to make Christian content and intellectual Christian content, to make people think logically with a reason, that's why I bring in philosophical things as well on this channel, for the sake of balancing what the word says and what the early church fathers say and what Christianity has always taught, also with the lens of early Greek philosophers, for the sake of there's the biblical approach and there's also the philosophical approach. And the biblical approach and early Greek philosophy, for the most part, they pretty much seem to tie a lot together. So the intellectual people out there, which seems to be dwindling now day by day, in this instance, I cannot understand how there is one side of the aisle who treats this like it's a joke. They treat it as a celebration.
You're talking about Charlie Kirk's death.
Yes.
Assassination, because that is what it is.
It's beyond that. It's a martyrdom.
Yeah, yet.
He was martyred. Like Stephen in the Bible was martyred. And for the scope of this video, we're going to call them what they are. It's not the left. It's never been the left. They are evil. There's no right or left. It's never been a political thing. There's good and evil. For those who want to go ahead and say, no, but it's more nuanced than that. There's more things that you need to look to. It's a bit more complicated than that. That's an oversimplification, Ian. No, there's certain things in the Bible that one side of the aisle adhere to better than the other. And specifically for the Christians out there, specifically for you, I do not understand how you can call yourself a Christian and have progressive leftist ideology. You will clearly hear by my accent, our accents, yes, I'm not in the Americas. I'm not from America. We're here in South Africa. This death, this theft, has stolen a lot from a lot of people. There was a lot of people worldwide that have very much the same understanding that Charlie did. And to all those who think this is a great victory, you cannot understand how much you've shot yourself in the foot. Charlie Kirk is a seed planted, and you are going to hate the fruit.
I will not keep quiet. You cannot reason with something that happens to be unto you possessed.
And not the entire week, since Wednesday, just watching all the videos, being inundated on social media about this, you can see just how one side reacts versus the other. Should the shoe have been on the other foot, there would have been riots in the streets.
Cities burnt to the ground.
Businesses vandalized. Cars torched.
Well, they still want to shoot Musk.
And once again, to bring it back to biblical things, and speaking to the Christians out there that want to be progressive and that want to be liberal, it would be interesting to see what your interpretation of certain verses would be. And it would be interesting to understand how you see Jesus Christ. It would be interesting to see, and I understand because you twist scripture, you twist verses like love your neighbor without looking at the context of the verse. Love your neighbor as yourself, for instance. It's interesting how people are incapable of digging deeper into what that verse actually means. If you think about loving your neighbor as yourself, how do you love yourself first and foremost? The Christian understanding of loving thyself is, this is the truth. Whatever in my life doesn't line up with that truth, for the sake of me being kind and loving to myself, I'm going to orientate my life more and as much as I can to adhere to this. Because I understand that Christ loves me and I understand I ought to love myself. The loving thing for me to myself would be to do what this says and not to do what my flesh says. So therefore, when it comes to my flesh, my feelings want to go out and do something that's not according to this, in order to love myself effectively, I would go and default to this and say, Ian, I'm going to love you by not doing that your flesh wants to do, because it's bad for you. The Bible talks of denial, denying yourself and picking up your cross. Therefore, that means that there's certain things in your life that you recognize according to the Bible are wrong. You're going to love yourself by not doing that and doing something more spiritually edifying, more biblically correct.
Yeah, and it's also dying to, yourself.
So that when it comes to weirdly debated topics like abortion or homosexuality or things of that nature, if you see that as incorrect in the Bible, which it is, and you understand that you ought to love yourself, you shouldn't do those things. And therefore, when it comes to loving your neighbor as yourself, you ought to speak to your neighbor when they are in error on those things. And now this brings up the do not judge scenario. When you have internalized this and continue to do so, you therefore are able to rightly judge, because it's not you judging anymore, it's this that is judging through you.
Yeah, and that's where for too long that has been taught, repeated in the wrong way. Do not judge. And Paul says to actually discern, which means judging.
Paul makes mention of it in the epistles. We are going to be judging angels,
yes,
at the end of all things.
So right, learn now.
What better way to test our judgment skills so that when we get that side we don't look like fools?
I don't know.
God is going to be requiring an answer from us. What do we do in this case? I don't know, God. Who am I to judge?
And yet he, happens to be the righteous judge. And we happen to be his children.
Yet we're very quick as Christians to say, I'm the righteousness of God. I'm co-heirs with Christ. I can do all things through God who strengthens me. It's very quick. We're very quick to say those kind of things in closed circles and puff ourselves up and all this kind of stuff when it comes to things that are societally easy in terms of bending to society's will. It's very quick. We're very quick to go ahead and say, oh, yes, I can do all things. I'm able to be the most spineless Christian I can be for the sake of not offending people.
And speaking about it, spineless people do not inherit the kingdom of God.
Yeah. And it's interesting just from, as I've been dabbling into more and more Roman Catholicism, which I'm finding increasingly more and more appealing. It's interesting that for some reason, mortal sins, there's no cowardice mentioned in mortal sins. Why is there no cowardice? According to the Bible, that's also mentioned as one of the things, one of the reasons you go to hell. And so just to bring it back onto topic, just what's happened this week is just insane. There's no cause for it. There's no reason for it. It was absolutely uncalled for. And once again, yes, we're in South Africa. This affects everybody. And this is a watershed moment. Honestly, this feels like it's comparable to how the world was prior to COVID and how the world has become after COVID. It's one of these things that stuff has changed now.
Yeah.
It's changed.
There's no going back. It now has to, until you turn either that side or that side.
And you can say, you're being so dramatic. You know what?
So be it.
Just looking at how both sides, since it happened, just looking at both sides on social media, I'm going to defer to my point and say, well, currently I'm right.
Yeah. And for too long, we've been actually called names to people who have got no concept of, the meaning of Nazi and fascist and so on.
We've been mocked. Christ has been mocked.
Shot, killed.
The word has been mocked in music, in movies, in TV series, in churches that don't take the Bible seriously and think, oh, you know, let's have an agnostic understanding of the Bible. It's always according to my interpretation, because of course I'm far more important and my understanding is far more important than what the word actually says. I would rather defer to my understanding, because I know that my understanding is always going to, if I can somehow twist scripture to fit my understanding, I've got a biblical reason and a biblical validation to keep myself a coward.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to the video that we're about to watch as well, I think us as Christianity in general, and I'm not talking specifically about Protestants with this one, and I'm not specifically talking about Catholics or Orthodox, I'm talking about those that are in the church that still have this Vatican II mentality, where let's all go ahead and for the sake of winning souls in the world, let's become like the world. Let's go be soft with the things of the devil, and yet weirdly, when it comes to Christians like me and you and the guy that we're about to watch, let's be hard on them when it comes to people that judge. Let's judge them. Because of course we know that Jesus was a very soft,
Was he?
weak-mannered person. They misunderstand meek and weak, and of course they would, because then it justifies them being weak.
Making whips, or a whip, turning over tables.
Telling disciples to buy swords.
And the way that Jesus spoke to the rabbis. It is time to actually man up.
Over the past couple of days, I have seen some things on the internet that are so heinous, there aren't really words for it. And that's why this is about, aren't we all done talking? When do we start fighting? No, this isn't some hoorah bullshit. This is pretty damn serious. The left has been celebrating Charlie Kirk being shot. We have people fucking profiting off of the murder of Charlie Kirk by selling t-shirts.
Punk with a camera. This is what he's selling.
So some of you might be surprised to see me in an office. Well, I was too. My agent Kale actually got...
With the laughing emoji. Unbelievable. There's his other t-shirt as well. What's so funny about this? And he's looking to make a profit off of it as well?
I am not kidding when I say that the government needs to sanction a fucking fight between all of us. The government is not going to do anything. Our government needs to step aside, make it legal for us to have one big ass fight, because that's what we need. We have YouTubers, this dude named Hassan, saying conservatives need to be gutted like a fucking fish.
Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man? Slice them up. Slice them and fucking dice them.
Hey, Hassan, would you say that to my face? We have people commenting on a picture of Erica Kirk holding a rosary out, telling her that her kids now have no father. Whatever happened to just being able to disagree with someone? Oh, you're a liberal? Okay, I don't really care. I really don't. Want to know the difference between a liberal and conservative? A liberal has nothing to lose because they don't fight for anything in their life other than trying to fuck with us. We have families, jobs, people that depend on us. All of them, just another day for them. We got another guy cheering with a microphone like he's a damn demon.
We got Charlie and the neck. What's up next? We got Charlie and the neck. We got Charlie.
I want to ask our government something. What do you recommend we do? They are clearly attacking us, and I want to be able to say that Charlie is the last one, but I have had conversations with people who have had music tours scheduled, big people on YouTube who've been planning to do speaking events, and people are legitimately saying, do I cancel it? Am I going to be next? Because there is never a consequence. Never. Presidents, the left side of America, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they have called us white supremacists. They have told America that white supremacy is the greatest threat to America.
Start calling his supporters racist as well. That MAGA symbol has come to represent something. It is the new Nazi symbol. It is the new hood.
Because they're not a party. right? They're Sinn Féin to the IRA. They're the PLO to Hamas. They're a dime store front for a terrorist movement.
The Republican Party is basically a domestic terrorist cell at this point, and they should be treated as such.
There are elements of the GOP that are starting to look like the jihadists.
Not a political party. They're a white nationalist movement. They're a fascist threat to our nation. That's not hyperbolic. That's academic.
Would have once seemed hyperbolic, but it increasingly does feel like the Republican Party has become a death cult, and it's all about Donald Trump.
There is no alternative right now because the Republican Party project today is a fascist authoritarian project.
Fact is, Republicans in Congress are still in the grip of the ultra-MAGA agenda.
Party of dupes, party of knuckleheads, party of weirdos, party of freaks. So that is a simple message.
When you label a group that bad for that long, there are going to be some stupid people out there who try to take us all out. And then what do? Oh, it's cool. He'll have his day in court. We don't want that. We're tired of that. Our judicial system is the biggest crock of shit known to mankind. You go out and you murder somebody. You go out and stab a person on the bus. Here's a bed. Here's an air-conditioned room. Here are 3 meals a day. Here's somebody to wait on you if you have a medical emergency. Here's health care. Here's dental care. You know what we call that? That's fucking prison in the United States. That's what they get. For someone who is willing to do something like that, do you think all of the stuff I just said is a scary enough thing to stop them? Here we go. We got a guy by the name of Jacob Nestegard. Listen what this fuck said.
You support his death?
Fuck Charlie Kirk.
You support Charlie Kirk being killed?
Yes, I do.
On the day he died, you're here at a vigil for Charlie Kirk and you support his death.
Do you support a Nazi?
No, I don't support a Nazi. Charlie Kirk wasn't a Nazi.
Yes,
You support his shooter?
Yep, sure do. Freedom.
You support Charlie Kirk's shooter?
Sure do. He did us all a favor.
Would you shoot somebody like Charlie Kirk?
I would have killed him myself.
You would have killed him yourself. Okay. Do you have a job here in Seattle?
Nope. I take that for a living.
Oh, you would have killed him yourself. When is enough enough? I can tell you right now, as a Christian man, as a man who follows God fiercely, it is very, very hard to not just become a straight savage right now. Here is Malcolm X, just flat out saying it.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for
As for mainstream media, every single one of those people,
they should be held to account. You know what they're doing in the UK right now to just normal people that have comments and outrage and frustration with all the illegal aliens that are going in through their borders, so they go ahead and voice those frustrations on social media. That should apply to mainstream media. And you know, let's not get this confused. Because a lot of people will go ahead and say, oh, Ian, you're dabbling into American politics. What business do you have in that kind of stuff? No, the thing is, like I said in the beginning, it's not left and right. It's evil and good. It's not about a geographic location. It's about an ideology and a mindset. Unfortunately, here in South Africa, we've got the evil mindset. They're the ones that have been ruling for 30 years.
And they, support every left thing out.
Yes.
Hamas. Who actually supports Hamas? The left. Greta.
And make no mistake, when people talk about how erroneously they would want to compare the right to Nazis, do research. It's actually more a leftist thing. Nazism, fascism, it's more a leftist ideology.
Yeah.
It's not the right.
No.
We're about conserving that which is already here, about establishing and growing that which has already been established.
Family, loved ones, caring, life.
This idea of progression and this idea of trying a new thing, and those that don't see eye to eye with our trying to do a new thing, we wipe them out. That's a Nazi thing.
Yeah.
That's a fascist thing.
Yes, yeah. And honestly, I do not know what to say. I am so angry. And this whole thing, making of t-shirts, you've got no value of anything.
I don't think Charlie recognized and realized how, in a sense, prophetic the name of his company he started was going to be. You know, it obviously wasn't meant to be like this because God is not in control prior to people's understanding. And I wish people would grow up and think a bit more with their head than their ass. But the name of his company, for those that don't know, Turning Point. How prophetic is it that his death, his martyrdom, is probably one of the biggest turning points
worldwide
we're probably going to see in a very long time. But the world is such a dog show, who knows? But that is quite a prophetic name. And we choose. And unfortunately, by us choosing to continually not make a choice, by continually not choosing to stand up, by continually saying don't judge, by continually saying no, but it's all about love and inclusion and tolerance, and anybody who stands up against that is seen as a bigot and a vile person and a Nazi. And I'm talking specifically into church conversations now, because we haven't chosen to resolve that. This is what happens.
And let me tell you, this book separates.
And it's also interesting how it seems incredibly apparent in Gen Z. There's a greater shift. Younger women are becoming more progressive. Younger men are becoming more conservative. Once again, because the Satan has got no new tricks up his sleeve. It is the Garden of Eden once again. You've got the left that can be likened to Eve, because they think with their heart and they think with feelings and they think about, you know, they want everything to be moonlight and roses and don't hurt the other people that don't share our values. Let them come into our borders, i.e. Islam. They are the snake in the analogy. They are Satan. The left is Eve. Let us go ahead and usurp authority from Adam, who learnt and heard from God, don't eat the fruit. Let us go ahead and usurp that authority as Eve, as the left, as evil. Let us go and align ourselves with the snake, with evil.
Hoping to actually change them.
And what do you have? That is exactly the mindset that put us into the situation in the first place.
And honestly, women, put the microphone down in church. You've got nothing sensible to say. Nothing.
It's in the Bible. But yeah, that's it.